because Netflix only get more data than we're reading the Waterbury Republican at the time.
Diane, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you're good, Kurt.
Okay, good. Thank you, Pam, very much. Okay, so I think at this point we have a quorum. So I'd like to call our January 2021 Recreation Board meeting to order at 7:04. At this time, I would just like to verify roll call that who is on the call right now. I see that myself, Kurt Williams, Jamie Duffy, Kim Huber, Sean is with us, Diane Ransom, and Alicia will be coming a few minutes late. Have I missed anybody at this point? And we do have our speaker under public comment, Dave Antoni. Dave, how do you pronounce your last name?
I pronounce it Antonazi.
Okay, well, I will butcher that a few times. I apologize, but so
please do.
Okay, so I think we have everybody at this point in time. Have I missed anybody? And Jamie, if I go too quick as you're taking notes, just please let me know. Okay. Okay, so with that, we have the call to order. We know who's here. Would like to move to the second item on our agenda, which is the approval of our meeting minutes that we had in November. I believe everybody has received a copy of that today from Jamie. If give everybody a minute or two to review that if you haven't, and then I will entertain taking any motions for acceptance or amendment to those. So we'll take a minute or two for those who haven't had a chance to read those. And as I said, I will take a motion whenever.
I have a motion to accept.
Okay, that was a motion to accept as by who?
Diane.
Diane, thank you, Diane. Is there a second on that from any board member?
Kurt, this is
right.
Kim. I need to abstain. I was not here at the last
Okay,
meeting.
so thank you, Kim. So I will motion as a second for that. All those in favor, just signify. Jamie, you're good with it? Kim is abstaining. Sean, are you good with the meeting minutes?
I'm a little confused. I'm looking at, you said November, but I'm looking at December meeting.
Oh,
minutes.
I'm sorry, December.
And I also was not there, so I would have to abstain as well.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Sorry about that, folks. So Sean, you're going to abstain. Diane, basically, you made the motion to accept. And so at that point, we're going to have who's present. We're going to have two approving and three approving and two abstaining, correct?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. Moving to the next item, which is public comment. As everyone's aware, we've communicated out over the last couple of weeks that Dave is going, who is a resident of up at the lake, would like to talk to the board about some of his observations and around Risha Beach. So Dave, if you could introduce yourself, name and address, and then you have the floor.
Well, thank you very much. First of all, thanks very much for inviting me. I appreciate being here. I'm Dave Antonazi. I live at 25 East Lake Street, which is just to the right of Risha Beach. I formerly lived on Shore Drive, and we've been here a little over 2 years, and lived on Shore Drive for, I think, 3 years, off and on. We've been a permanent fixture on Lake Street for 2 years. But we've been coming to Highland Lake for much longer, having lived in Torrington for a number of years and then spent some time in Florida. But we're back permanently in Connecticut. And so I thought it would be helpful to share some observations, as you perfectly put it. I don't want to be the grumpy old bastard next door. I'm just trying to, give you some ideas and observations and and have a dialogue and tried to be good neighbors with you all. I know we've cooperated in the past with Tanya on the buoys, and I reached out to her. And Tanya, I do appreciate your very thorough and very rapid response. And then Kurt, thank you for passing it on to the rest of the board so that they could share my ideas. So, I mean, you know, the initial thought I had was concerning the garbage, and I guess it's just a little frustrating. And I knew living next to Risha Beach wasn't going to be a picnic, but you know, it's just, I guess, frustrating. I never was very tolerant of litter bugs, and this is not your you know, hamburger wrapper blowing out of the car window accidentally. These are people that just you know, just can't seem to find their way to pick up after themselves, and it's pretty frustrating. So I was trying to think about, you know, maybe it would be helpful if we could have a trash can there, even in the quote unquote off season. And Tanya's response was interesting. I had not thought about the problems concerning the fact that people then would treat that as their public public receptacles, and I can appreciate that that's, you know, trying to solve one problem and creating another one. So I'm afraid with respect to the trash, I'm just going to have to pop over there from time to time and do my thing, and you know, just have to accept that the people are going to be flawed with respect to the trash. And but certainly would ask you if you could have your crew from time to time, you know, take a look, you know, in the off season and the on season, and try to keep it as neat as possible. I think you can tell from my email that I think it's a wonderful resource, and it's a wonderful resource for the town, and therefore for people to enjoy. And I do enjoy people you know, that are enjoying it. You know, living next to it is really not at all problematic for me, except for apparently we have a great deal of difficulty finding Marco Polo, but I'm sure he'll show up sometime in the near future. Anyhow, so I just thought it would be a good idea to introduce myself and get to know you all a little bit better, and talk a little bit about the garbage. And then I had written to the town manager a while back about the parking, and they put up the no parking signs, and people kind of circumvented that by just merely parking outside of the range of the no parking signs. And then I realized that because of COVID, the beach parking passes were sold out anyhow, which made it even more problematic. So I just thought, you know, we could talk about that a little bit. And one of the things that caught my eye, Tanya, to be honest, was your response to that the beach was actually closed from Memorial Day to Labor Day. I didn't necessarily see that in the ordinances anywhere. And I went over there today to see what the signage says with respect to the beach. And it really doesn't say when it's open, to be honest. And I'm just trying to figure out where we are with this. Say it again.
The signs, most of the signs Jim Welcome does take down.
Oh, he does. Okay, so those are seasonal as well.
Down most of the signs.
I got you. Okay, so I mean, is it really closed from Memorial Day to Labor Day?
Well, it is only guarded, and we only have staff working there between Memorial Day and Labor Day.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that this distinction is when you have lifeguards present and when the beach is open. You know, just because there's no lifeguard doesn't mean that it's necessarily closed.
Right. So according to our ordinances now, I believe how it says it's just open from like dusk to dawn, possibly. We can take a look at it. I believe it's ordinance 65.
Yeah, 10 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
Right.
It's closed.
Yeah, and Dave, this is Kurt, and as I communicated to you via email last month, you're well aware that even with your correspondences with Tanya, we are, the board over the last number of months have been looking at the specific ordinances, not only up at the Risha and Holland beaches, but also some other parks and that we have, you know, realm of influence over. So this is parking is definitely, was, number one on how do we address, and we struggle with it. So it's all this information is good information coming at this time. So I really appreciate you bringing it forth to us. It really reinforces some things for us. So as Tanya look for the actual ordinance there to get that, we will definitely take under consideration a majority of the things that you were telling us.
So Dave,
Well, I mean,
65
go ahead.
that you're referring to, as of right now, how it is written, it's open every day of the year between the hours of open every day of the year between the hours of 8 until 10 p.m. That is one of the things we are trying to change the wordage of. We are in the middle of it. We're working with Board of Selectmen, Melissa Bird, last month and a half. I sat down and had multiple conversations with police chief as well to kind of get the wordage right of where we want to head and how we want to handle things, because these ordinances were written in, like this one in particular, was 1967.
Yeah, I see it.
It's
I actually
a long process.
I printed it out, so I have it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's a long process to change ordinances. So first we have to draft it as the board. It has to go to the police chief. He has to change things. He has to approve it. It has to go to the Board of Selectmen. Then it has to go to the town attorneys, and then it can be changed. So it is a very lengthy process that we started about 3 months ago with so for instance, we're working on ordinance section 65, 41, and 128 that have specifically to do with the beaches and town.
Yeah, the other one I printed is also 41 with respect to parking.
Right.
And
so I can do a
I mean,
copy of what works and
I'm
what we
sorry,
have.
one more time.
I'm going to send you an email right now as we're on, so that way you can see everything that is drafted and that we've been working on.
That's great. I mean, I'm encouraged actually that it's not closed, because you certainly don't treat it as if it's closed. I mean, if you really wanted to, if it were really closed, then you could argue that you should put up barriers and prevent people from going in, and then by the same token, you shouldn't plow it. When it snows. So and I'm not so sure that's the right answer. So I'm actually encouraged by your answer, because I don't. If it is closed, it's one of the worst enforced closures I've ever seen, because there's literally people there every day, and it's great. I mean, and like anything else, 99% of the people that are there don't abuse it at all, and enjoy it. And I think they should. It's, as I said, it's a wonderful resource.
Yeah. So email so you can take a look at what we're going to discuss in a little bit of the ordinances and how we're trying to change them.
Right.
Okay.
So you can see them as well.
So, yeah, Dave, as I said, as Tanya was getting the information from her office, that, the board over the last couple meetings has really, on the off season, we fully understand at both beaches that we have day-to-day issues and concerns during when it's open, when it's used, primarily from Memorial Day through up until Labor Day. And so it's something that we really are trying to work with the selectmen right now. And it's a process that we're going to go through. But we are going to continue working on this over the next few months, and we will take under consideration any and all information you're presenting to us tonight, or as you come up with maybe better recommendations or ideas, feel free to drop me a note or drop Tanya a note. I mean, we're always open for additional comments for improvements on that. And just one last comment, kind of the same thing I've always struggled. If you look at our East End Park, right now during the winter, it's technically closed, but there are signs that says, enter at your own risk, to cut across, to the college, so it's, it's trying to come up with the best of all worlds here. There's a lot of people, I'm sure that you see a lot of people sitting up there, maybe during the daytime, just, parking and looking out over at the beautiful lake on both beaches, probably, we all do that periodically.
Exactly. Well, and I think the other issue, to be honest, is you do indeed in the summertime have a pass. I mean, but that pass attaches to the vehicle, not to the person. And Tanya also responded quite appropriately that I'm sure she gets a tremendous amount of grief from people when she or her staff tries to enforce it. And to be honest, and to be perfectly blunt, I just wonder if you don't need some more support. And I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus here, but I'm just wondering if you don't need some more support from the police department. I mean, to be honest, if you want to be brutal about it, you could look at it if people are not getting their passes or they're from out of town, and I do believe there's a lot of people from out of town. It's really, you could almost consider it a theft of services.
Yeah.
And somebody who pays a considerable amount of taxes could say, well, wait a second, I'm perfectly happy to pay these taxes and have people enjoy and pay people to pick up trash and pay lifeguards. I'm 100% good with that. But if you can't pay $8 or $50 if it is from out of town or whatever the hell the number is, then I got a real problem with that.
Right.
And enforceability, enforceability ought to be part of that.
All right. So just to respond to that a bit, once again, this is one of the main reasons why we're focusing on the ordinances because Tanya will give you more detail here in a minute, but we have requested police in the past to support us, and basically they have to have the meat behind, what they have to do is via the ordinances. So Tanya, you want to comment a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so one of the main things that I spoke to the police chief about is if we can and could start towing vehicles. So in order to do so, we have to have one, proper signage. Two, we have to have it written in the town ordinances to be followed. So that's one of the things that we do want to add into our town ordinance is that a person violating any provisions of this ordinance shall be deemed guilty of the misdemeanor and can be subject to tow at the owner's expense. So if the police don't come around or are busy or whatever the case is, whatever towing company has the contract here in town, which I would find out between Jimmy Rollins and Public Works and the police department, because it's all by contract of how it works. They would be able to tow any vehicle those parking lots between the hours of 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. when lifeguards are on duty and need a permit. So that might be able to help out with like the whole problem because, like I said, we can ask, we can say you can't park here. If we get told to go to hell, I mean, there's nothing else we can do. So hopefully putting something in about being able to get towed and the towing company come and helping us out will eliminate. I mean, because once one person's car gets towed, it's going to kind of catch on really quick that, you're taking a higher risk now than a $15 ticket to the town.
Didn't I see something in one of the ordinances about towing of vehicles? Here it is right here. Motor vehicle towing for parking violations. That's for parking violations. That's
Trying to add
127.
it. That is what we're working on.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the
That's-
draft
okay.
that we're sending to the selectmen, Dave. That
Wonderful.
over the last couple meetings.
Dave,
It sounds
I'm
like you're
sorry.
right on top of it. I'm just happy to be, I don't know if you find this helpful or not. I hope you do.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Dave, I have a question.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
There you are.
I came on a couple minutes late. How do you feel about the lighting or lack of lighting up there?
Oh, wow. Hadn't really thought about it, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know, but I will look. I suspect that there may be some lighting, that actually emanates from La Pointe's.
There's no lighting. There used to be a big light that illuminated that parking lot at the beach, and it's no longer working. So if you go by at night, it's all pitch black dark. And I just didn't know with you as a neighbor, if we requested lighting or something to be changed, if you'd have an issue with it.
So you were concerned about whether it would be problematic for me to have the lighting over there and whether it would be reflecting adversely
Right.
into my property.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know that I've ever seen it on. If it has been on, I guess I didn't notice it. So how long's it been out?
Quite a while, I think. So
Has it? I don't know. I can't. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not. In general, if you think it's necessary, I would be in favor of it. But I'm sure we could position it in such a way that I could live with it. you know, if, again, but I can't comment about it because
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks,
Got it.
Alicia. Okay, Dave, did you have anything else before I ask any board members if they have any questions for you at this point?
No, I don't think so. I think we're covered it very well.
Okay, good.
But I'm
So,
happy to entertain any questions.
yeah, so board members, any specific questions for Dave, while we have him on? Okay, so not hearing anything, I have one, Dave, and actually, and I think this is very appropriate. It just, as Alicia mentioned about the lighting, I don't spend a lot of time at the lake. I live on the other side of town. So definitely, when you have issues, and we may not know all the intricacies of what's going on up at the lake, that, as you mentioned early on, you live there, you pay taxes. And tell your neighbors also, that if there are recommendations or issues, that they can come to the board or come through the rec director to, give us insight, because we think we know what's going on, but a lot of times we really don't. We make some assumptions and they may be poor. So I applaud you for getting in touch, with us and coming tonight to spend time to give us your viewpoints on everything. And as I said, hopefully, as you read these ordinances, as we're drafting them and getting them through the selectmen, if you feel that there's something that we're missing, feel free to drop us a note. We're always open for suggestions.
Appreciate that. And I'm glad you brought that up. One thing I neglected to mention is I must give kudos to the lifeguards. From what I see, they do a terrific job. They are right on the button, keeping that beach under control. And so kudos to them.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so if other board members don't have any questions at this time, Dave, Dave, you're more than welcome to stay on, listen to the meeting. At this point, we're going to move away from public comment, unless any other board members want to talk about anything under public comment. So any board members at this time, anything you want to discuss under public comment? Okay, hearing none. At this time, I would like to go through basically the agenda review that is presented. And as I mentioned to a number of members today around lunchtime, I would like to add under new business in tonight's meeting, a discussion around Holland Beach, which we want to have some input from Tanya on, and some information that she is getting through the town manager and some of the selectmen. So I would like to put under new business discussion around Holland Beach. Jamie?
Yeah, hold on. What was that?
All right, we're just going to put under, I'm sorry, do you hear me? We're going to put under, if everyone heard me, under new business, a discussion around Holland Beach.
Okay.
Okay? Sorry about that.
No, new
All right.
business.
Any other members have anything to they want to add to the agenda at this point in time?
So,
Okay.
because this can change though.
All right. Hearing none, we're going to move on to chairman's report. I have
That can change.
a number of things just to bring everybody up to snuff on what's going on here from my perspective. As everyone's aware from those who attended last December's meeting and the meeting minutes and previous is that we do have an open position on the recreation board at this point in time. Everyone's aware that that I did send an email out to the town manager and Melissa Bird back on December 9th, indicating that we do have an open position at this point. So if any of the members, if you know somebody who would like to join the board, please, ask them to get in contact with myself or Tanya. We need to get a letter out, to the town manager showing interest in the board. I do have one candidate potentially who's interested in joining the board. I want to confirm with that individual a little bit more of their interest before I bring it to this board at this point in time. But I do have somebody who's young, has 2 small children in the community, has been active over the last couple of years. So I think would be a good addition to the board, but I just need to verify that he still has interest in applying and potentially joining. So once again, we do have in our charter, we are allowed 9 to 13 members. We are currently at 9 right now, I believe. And as I've mentioned many times that, 10 to 11 is a really good number for the board. And as we all know, we're very busy, and definitely 13 is sometimes too much, but that 10, 11 number seems to work well based upon my experiences. So next item I just want to comment a bit about is moving into the next couple months. I would really like the board, and I will put it on the agenda for starting for February. I think we really need to be looking at what are our next projects that we want to focus on, potentially fund with money from the 015 account. So, spring's going to be here soon. And so I really want to make sure that, what we have, what we've gone through over the last year or two on our project list, and we've developed, that we refresh, relook at it. And if there are some good projects that we need to begin potentially funding, that we as a board basically have agreement on that. And also the other important thing is that we are coming up to the budget cycle for the town. So some of the larger projects that may be on our wish list, just as we did last year, even though we weren't successful, we should be putting forth a proposal to the town manager on some of the larger projects for consideration. So I will be working with Tanya on that over the next month or two on the larger projects. And then I think on the smaller projects that we have on our list, we need to potentially pick and choose and potentially fund coming up into the next 6 to 8 months if possible. We're going to spend a lot of discussion probably about, recreation activities and COVID-19 and what do we need to do and who we're waiting for, so on and so forth. But guaranteed that in the end of January, early February time period, the baseball, softball communities, Barkhamsted, Heartland, Colebrook, Norfolk, New Hartford, that all is going to start, meetings are going to start to occur. And hopefully we're not in a deep quandary like we were last year, waiting to the last minute to cancel. But some of that activity, there'll be emails floating around very soon over the next couple of weeks about organizational meetings for the communities on that, just to make everyone aware at this time. The other thing I wanted to comment on, I really wanted to thank everybody who was involved in decorating the East End Park. I know, Tanya, you and Alan did a lot on the tree. There were probably some other individuals involved. It really looked good this year. And I think some of the decorations that we got in place really spruced it up. I think if we can look forward to next year, maybe a few more, it really looked good. It really looked good. And I appreciate everyone's involvement on getting that done. It's a nice touch to come into the town on at this point. So with that said, the only other comment I want to make is that given the circumstances, we can plan probably our February 3rd meeting will be another Zoom meeting more than likely. So with that, I'm done with anything on my report side. Okay. All right. With that, Tanya, we're going to move that over to you to talk about where we are in activities related to COVID, and then roll right into your director's report.
All right, so we're still at the same standstill we were last month with COVID-19. CIAC was supposed to meet tomorrow. I'm not sure at this point if it's still happening. So we'll have to wait and see what tomorrow brings and what the CIAC starts to decide with winter sports, if basketball can move forward and where things kind of stand in our state. So we'll have a better understanding once that meeting happens. Until that meeting happens, really everything is still at a standstill. It's supposed to be tomorrow. As of right now, how things are phrased, they are subject to allow basketball and other programs to start January 19th. But like I said, it is all depending on tomorrow's meeting, if it does happen or if they even push that back farther. So we'll know more once that meeting happens.
Okay, good. Would you anticipate, we've all read the newspaper, that, maybe you're going to have football going on at the same time that, baseball, softball's going on.
Right.
We don't know till we know. And, I just thinking out loud here, folks, I wouldn't see if indeed, if that even happened, that we would have field issues. I was just thinking out loud. I don't know if you've thought about that or not. I wouldn't think there would be competition.
Has their own field for football, so we don't have to worry about them having football
right.
fields.
Okay.
Ours do softball, baseball.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Okay. Anything else on director's report you want to mention? Noteworthy? Budget wise, we're doing good.
Yeah, budget wise, we're doing good. I don't know if everyone took the time to read the letter that we're gonna send to the finance department about giving back the 20,000. No one kind of responded, so I didn't send it upstairs yet.
I think everybody
with what we said was the 5,000, then giving back that one employee that we never hired.
I think we all responded that we were good with you moving forward. We didn't see the actual memo, but I'm sorry. I think we were all good with you drafting it with saying that.
Okay. So
board members want to comment on that?
Yeah, I was good with it. I submitted that.
Yeah.
I was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think everybody was good with it. We didn't see the final version, but the intent, we were, I believe those who commented were favorable to it. So.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll go up to finance tomorrow with our suggestion of giving back the 5,000 and the one employee that we didn't hire.
Right. Very good. Okay. Anything else on your end, on director's report?
I mean, not really. Like, we're just working on the ordinance changes. Jim Welcome, once we get our ordinance in line, he wants us to make signs to kind of pertain to them, to put up around the different parks, and just have one sign with all the things listed, versus right now we have like 6 or 7 signs at like some of the parks. So we kind of want to consolidate, make one sign and make it more to follow these ordinances and follow the rules and regulations that we set in place, which I think is a great idea, because if we're changing things around, having one sign versus 7, people will like see and pay more attention to, I think.
All right. Any other comment from any board members on director's report at this point in time before we move to item 7, which is the draft of our regulations and ordinances we've been Tanya's been working on? Okay, so let's hearing none, let's just move right to item 7, which everyone's aware we've been working on the ordinances, and then we found our 2006 version of regulations a meeting or 2 ago. And Tanya, you've been working on and off with the police chief, getting information. I believe everybody has received, I requested everyone to make sure they had a copy of what you wanted to go over tonight. So it's back to you on how you want to manage discussing that topic.
I mean, did everyone get the latest draft of 65, 41, and 128?
Yes, I have it.
So, I mean, we can start with ordinance 5, which I kind of just changed in the last few minutes with Jamie. So
Sounds like no.
we kind of, I wrote it backwards, so I had to change it between hours to dawn to dusk because it's going to be open. So section A, we switched that around. And then section D, we're not going to say it's closed because it's going to be like Dave was just saying, you know, it's nice to have people be able to stop in. So we can change it to somewhere along the lines of town beaches are not maintained or monitored after Labor Day until Memorial Day the following year. All winter events or special events require proper permits to use, and hours in the off season will remain the same, dawn to dusk. And then E would remain the same. So that way people kind of know that the beaches are open, that you can stop in, but they're not maintained or monitored.
Do we want to say not monitored if we're going to be regulating some of the ordinances here? Should it be not staffed? Not, because won't we still be monitoring them?
I mean, I'm not exactly sure how to phrase it, to be honest. I mean, it's not gonna be staffed. We can say staffed. I mean, the police would have to monitor it, but it's not gonna, should we say staffed?
I think staffed fits better because if there's a call up there, it will be monitored.
Right, okay, so we can say it will not be staffed or maintained. And then we'll just write the off-season hours are also dawn to dusk, so that way people can go if they want in the morning, but it does close about 4 or 4:30 in the wintertime because the sun goes down. Hoping that people will not be at the beach 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night during like winter hours. One of the biggest things on that change is going, right now it's open until 10 p.m. Honestly, there's no purpose for a beach to be open that late. We all know what people are doing in the dark, not behaving and littering and everything else. So I think adding the dusk part, it will change vary of the season, but at least it gives like less time for the beach to be open and less hopefully could happen.
What about saying something about it being used at your own risk?
Off hours.
Yeah, we could add that in.
Right, we're not saying, so Sean, we're not saying that the beach is closed. We're just saying that it is not staffed or maintained from dawn to dusk. So people are still gonna go there, but it's gonna be at your own risk type thing.
Right, but I think you want to explicitly say that.
Yeah.
So where would we like to say that? During A and D, so
Yes.
off hours and during hours?
Yes.
I would think, because basically come Labor Day, we are not doing anything with it. It's there. You want to go
Right.
hang out, watch a sunset, whatever the case may be,
Right.
watch a sunrise, etc. You're doing this at your own risk.
Okay, so what I'll add in on section D is hours and off season are also dawn to dusk at own risk.
And put that in there.
And then we should probably put that in A as well.
Correct.
It's just saying that it's basically closed from after dusk until dawn again.
You could say.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think once again, it kind of gets, I've always kind of covers, I'm assuming once again, you know, the lawyers are going to look at this anyway. So a lot of people are going to look at it, and I think it covers very similar, you know, risk and liability. So I think put it in there. I think it's a great point. Very similar. to
Right.
down
This
part.
we're closed, but down here, we're saying that it's not.
So
Okay.
we're dusk, dawn to dusk, and then at your own risk.
Yeah, but look right here, it says that closed. No person
Right.
shall frequent any
Right.
such beach or congregate there during such hours when the beaches are closed. But the beaches aren't closed.
Well, they're closed from dusk to dawn. See how it's saying it's from dusk to dawn, it's closed. So this is just saying that it's at your own risk during the off season. regardless of the fact, always closed from dusk until dawn. So no
Is that-
person could technically be there when the sun goes down until the sun comes out, regardless.
So then why do we have to put the your own
Well,
risk
this
then?
is when we're not maintaining or staffing it. This
Okay,
time it's staffed.
okay.
You were talking about from Labor Day to Memorial Day.
Correct. So we're gonna add in at your own risk during that time because it's not staffed.
Correct.
The A says that it's such hours when the beaches are closed, but it's saying it's closed from dusk until like morning time. So that was her question.
You have to change no person shall frequent any such use.
Right.
I can't hear.
Nobody can go there.
Right. So it's saying from the time the sun goes down until the morning, no one's supposed to be technically on the beach. So we don't have people there at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., people sleeping there. So we're saying like it's always closed after the sun goes down, no matter what.
Okay, so you're going to, we'll add that in. We're going to draft it anyway, type it up, send it out to everybody. And then we can pick it apart, between now and the next meeting again too. Because, everyone likes to see it in writing and then mull it over. So I think it's a good point. Let's add it in. It's appropriate. We want to get these ordinances to the point where to the selectmen saying that, yeah, we beat this up a bit, good enough on the rec side. So
Okay.
this is some excellent points here. So,
All right. So next one is 41 parking lots. So basically the only thing that needed to be changed was we really have to make sure that it says the fee for the towing and that it could be towed at owner's expense.
so what was the fee? What was the fee change? Is that coming from the police chief or no?
The subject to tow at owner's expense has to be written in that one.
Oh, okay. All right.
And legal signs have to be put up. So it has to be and a sign has to be put up and for it to be in effect.
All right. And then once again, the fine, the actual fine, did we take that out or is that still in? I'm looking at
No,
it.
fine of $25 is still in.
And that was the same number whenever it was approved in 1954, 1967 or whatever, right?
Let me take a double look right now and I'll let you. Section 41 is the same as $25.
That's fine. That's what I thought I remember. We said we just keep it there. And if someone wants to change it, then meet the times and they have to do that. Give us input. Okay, that's good.
All right, the last one is section 128, where I added in each section of every basically area of that we maintain and we have. So originally it just said town beaches, athletic fields, and tennis courts. So if you take a look, I added basically all our rules and regulations that we've been talking about the town beaches to the ordinance. If you take a look at the original one, there is only till H. This one says until O. So I did add a lot of to the recreation regulation for the town beaches. Also adding in certain things that the police chief mentioned about like the cigarettes, the cigars, vape, tobacco related, and then making sure everything goes into the garbage. So we added in a bunch of different rules that like hopefully the police department like could help enforce, because a lot of those aren't in there as of right now, or we just get told that like it's not an ordinance that they can't help us. Athletic fields, I kind of did the same. I added in a bunch of things. Tennis courts. I added one for the skate park and parking lot. How the hours are from March 15th to November 14th, weather permitting. I added in completely the basketball courts because we have nothing, we have no ordinance about basketball courts. The playscape, I basically took all that from Alicia's thing in 2006, all those rules and regulations, and added in Tetra's Pond as well. Those aren't in any, so I thought it would be important. So did the police chief to break down each area that we have. So if you guys want to just take a few minutes to just read kind of what I came up with, and if anyone add anything or have any comments, let me know.
Okay. Other than board members, who else has seen this draft at this point, Tanya?
Just the board members, and now Dave has it.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So the police chief hasn't seen this. He's given input.
Has not seen this version, but he's seen one close to it.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So after you guys take the time, if anybody wants to comment, add, subtract, or discuss anything, just let me know.
Yeah, I think one thing that, I read this a little bit a week or two ago. I think one of the things that we need to consider, even you only have it in one section about the athletic fields, is specifically you have it in one of these sections about giving lessons or paid lessons. I think that probably needs to go in mostly majority of these, whether it be the tennis court. I think maybe where you have it is on the tennis court. Could be the tennis court, could be the athletic fields. It could be the basketball courts. I think you have a statement. Just trying to find
what
it.
state you're talking about? It's in one of them.
Yeah, I think it needs,
Paid lessons.
and it goes in where appropriate. A number of these other areas. I can't see maybe in the playscape not or at Tetra's Pond, but I think in the other areas it may be appropriate to add that item in those sections.
Do you know exactly where it is so I can copy it?
I lost track of it here. Hold on, I'll find it again.
Okay.
Or if it help me out.
Yeah, I'm looking, but
It's in that section, 128.
yeah.
I think it was on the athletic fields. I'm going to look here a little bit closer.
Okay, it's on basketball. So the town of courts for private pay lessons is prohibited unless given prior approval from by the recreation director.
There you go. That's.
All right.
I think we something similar. My recommendation and the other appropriate sections around that. I think I noticed that.
Absolutely.
And the other thing I just wanted to mention here, when we look at section 128, the original, I'm not too, what was in the original 128? I'm sorry, you may have mentioned that before.
It's just the, hold on, I'm gonna get it back out. So section 128 has 3 sections. It's town beaches, athletic fields, and tennis courts only.
Okay. All right. So those were the only 3. And when was that last updated? I'm sorry.
Before I was born.
Before you, we're not going to get a guessing game on that, but 1970 maybe?
1982.
1982. Okay, it was a good year. Those of us who remember it. So, okay, good. All right. So, I'm assuming
And say the years.
82. We didn't have the skate park in 82. We really didn't have basketball. The basketball courts that we do have right now in 82, and the playscape. I know Diane and I remember wasn't what it was like in 1982, right, Diane? Those of us who had, So okay, good. That's appropriate. So, yeah, I think you've done a good job on this. it's moving us in the right direction. Any other board members have any input about any of the additions to the sections at this point? And once again, I know it's difficult to do it over a Zoom meeting here. If you think of something over the next couple of days, just send out an email to everybody. Anybody have any other
Dave,
questions or input?
Hand raised. Dave.
Yeah. Could I
Go
say
ahead.
something?
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
It has a-
We'll allow that. That's
No.
fine.
I want to make sure I'm going to make sure I'm not muted. I think a great discussion, by the way, but I think that the word that you might be looking for, I mean, I heard the word monitored. I heard the word, I'm not sure I think the word that you might be looking for is guarded. Staff, thank you. I think the word that you might be looking for is guarded, lifeguarded. I mean, isn't that what it's really about? I mean, you've got a couple of levels here. You've got open and lifeguarded. And then you've got open, but at your own risk. And then you've got closed, which is a time of day thing.
Right.
And so if you're trying to be more succinct about it, it's when lifeguards are present.
Okay.
I don't know if that helps or not.
Right.
Well,
No, it does.
So who has the copy of this? Tanya, you have this? You're gonna mark it up?
Yeah, I have the copy of it. I'm marking it up on my end.
And once again, it's a working copy. Everyone's comments are good. Let's get them in there. We can redline them, beat it up. So thanks, Dave, for that input. No problem. Thanks for it. Any other board members have any comments at this time on what Tanya's been working on these three ordinances with us?
I have a question, Kurt. It's Kim.
Okay, go ahead, Kim.
With regard to section 128, section 5, and section 6, is there a reason the expanded smoking vaping is not included in those? I see section 6, playscapes, no smoking allowed, but it's not the expanded to include the vaping, and I don't see it in section 5 unless I'm missing it with regard to basketball courts.
I forgot to copy and paste, to be honest with you.
I'm sorry?
I could have just forgot to copy and paste it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's an easy.
I was just curious. I didn't see it there, and I know back when I did baseball, we always enforced that as much as we
Right.
could. But
Yeah, no, I'll highlight it. So section like C, no person shall smoke a cigarette, cigar, vape. That should be at all of them. Yes.
okay, thanks.
All right, that's good. Thanks, Kim. Okay. Anybody else with any comments on these three regulations that we've been looking at this point in time?
Not right now.
Okay, I guess we're good. So with item 7, moving on to item 8, old business. Does anybody want to talk about anything under old business? We didn't hear anything under agenda review. So I know, Alicia, I don't know exactly when you arrived, but did you're aware that we added under agenda review under new business, we're going to talk about Holland Beach.
Yes.
Okay, but
And
all right.
you
So
know what?
anybody,
While you have me, can you send out to us the 5 and 10, the immediate, our list, the updated list of what projects, so that way we can be prepared when you talk to us about which ones to do?
okay, I'll get the latest version of that, update it with what we've completed this past year or past seasons. And then, as I said, then everyone will have it and we can add to it, discuss old things or whatever. Good point. Thank you. Okay, not hearing anything on new business, on old business. I do want to move directly now to item 8 or 9 on our agenda, which we placed under new business, Holland Beach. So I'm going to turn this over to Tanya. Tanya called me a little bit before lunchtime today, indicating that that we need to talk about Holland Beach based upon conversations that she has recently had with the town manager and others at town hall. So Tanya, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. So Holland Beach, as we know, always been an issue with parking as well as beach space, how big the beach area is. And each year it seems to be getting smaller and smaller. Lifeguards chairs are practically at this point almost on the street. They have a small area that protects them. The stop sign, cars just fly through. Overall, it's been an issue. It's not that safe, and the beach area is getting smaller and smaller. It's been washing away. So the conversation topic is whether or not we want to continue to maintain and staff this beach, put out the swimming area and put lifeguards there, or if we'd rather go the route of having it be at your own risk. Bob came to me on Monday asking what the board thought and what we thought. And I expressed that we always thought it was dangerous, and it's getting smaller and smaller. You can only fit capacity wise to be safe about 25 people. There's no parking there, and it's a hazard. Melissa called me today, Board of Selectmen. They do want to put it on the agenda for the Board of Selectmen on the 19th to talk about what we want to do moving forward, if we want to just to be at your own risk, or if we should continue to guard it and maintain the property. So we kind of just gotta see what everyone thinks and how everyone feels about this situation. If anybody wants to jump in and let me know like what their thoughts are and where kind of everyone stands with how Holland Beach is. I mean, it's been brought up in the past. Everyone kind of agrees that it's a headache and the beach is not a beach. I mean, it might have been 25 years ago, but I mean, nowadays you can't even walk by the lifeguard chair with either being in the water or being in the road. So somebody want to jump in and say like their thoughts about this and where we want to head with things?
To ask the question, what would it take to get it back to what it was?
It can't.
And I'm new to the town, so I can't say I remember what it was.
And washed away. Having the boat launch there and having such high traffic and so many boats coming in and out, that water is just going to continue to push in that direction because of the traffic of the boats. So even if we were to add more sand, it's just going to continue to wash.
No way of directing the boats away from it so they aren't disturbing it?
No. Nope. And we don't own the boat launch, so there's no control. Boats could go in as close as they want to the buoys and sit. Anybody else?
Yeah, I got a couple things just for the board to consider here. So when I spoke to you briefly today on a couple of these items. One is that I think it's very important as we consider, what the selectmen may want to put forth, that if we do close it, it's a change, and change is difficult for all involved. And we just want to be very careful that if indeed we decide to close or not maintain it,
But
that
it would not be closed
or not maintained.
It's not closed. It will just not be guarded and staffed. So
Guarded
people,
and staffed. Oh, right.
like how it is right now after the people can still go.
Right. All right. Thanks for the point of clarification. The right word. So guarded and staffed is a change for people who are accustomed to having that for the last probably 40, 50, 60 years. So we just have to be cognizant of that if indeed it does go down this road. My other concern is, and once again, I was thinking about this driving on the way home, thinking, and maybe Alicia, you have some input on this. That beach, Holland, is the only beach, and correct me if I'm wrong, that is ADA compliant. It has that handicap ramp that was put in a number of years ago.
Yes.
And so is that a requirement? Is that a requirement that if if we don't guard it, we don't staff it, and we don't, and once again, from an ADA perspective, do we think we're going to get maybe asked to do something over at Risha Beach? I'm not sure.
I don't
I'm not
believe
at the
so.
lake, so I'm not an expert. So
I don't believe so. I
Yeah.
believe we're okay. And honestly, wholeheartedly, guarding that beach, but guarding both beaches is very expensive.
sure,
And it's a huge bulk of the budget. So if they're looking at like budget cuts to have Risha, so you still have a beach that has lifeguards. It's not like
Right.
you're taking lifeguards away from both. So if you want to go to a beach that's lifeguarded, you're at Risha Beach where there's guards. And Tanya, I don't know, but it's not that deep where those buoys are. It's not even 3 feet deep, I don't think.
Oh, that's state regulations. The state regulation states in permit, it cannot be more than three. I think it's 3 or 4 feet. The DEP came out and just filed new paperwork. He didn't finish the paperwork yet because of the COVID. But he made us pull in those buoys 2 years ago at Holland.
Yep.
He said your buoys are illegal at Holland. They cannot be at that depth. So that swim area got so small because they have to be at a certain depth according to the state regulations. And if they're not, and someone goes under, they come out and measure, we're at fault that we're letting people swim in a drop-off zone.
Okay. So Alicia, I understand your comment on the budget side, but my question was more, and we may not have the answer, is that do we need to make that other beach now ADA compliant?
I don't believe so, but I don't have the answer.
Yeah, and I don't remember if we got grant money for that years ago. And
that was before me, so we'd have
really?
Jim.
Okay.
Jim Welcome would have the answer on how we funded that.
Yeah, and that would be my only other concern that we should, potentially, throw out to the selectmen in their discussion is that are we required, if indeed, we don't staff and we don't guard it, and someone says, well, I want to go to the other beach, but it's not ADA compliant, or and then we're kind of in a problematic situation. So that would be one of my concerns and watch outs. And maybe, Tanya, you can, talk to Bob about that, or if you want me to drop him a note, I'll drop him a note. But I think, that between, I fully understand, the beach has been problematic. It's been shrinking. The stop sign, there's no parking. We've all discussed this. And we all know that probably even as we're pushing forward with the changes to the ordinances here, it's still going to be a struggle when we're all said and done, right? So I'm kind of leaning more personally, saying, yeah, I think it's a good thing that that the selectmen take a good hard look at this, and I would support that at this point in time, knowing what we've dealt with in the past and where we're probably going in the future. So that would be my 2 cents on it, with the caveat, let's make sure that we double check on the ADA compliance issues.
Maybe we could put in one of those ramps at Risha.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know if it's a requirement or not. That would be, as I said, I just was thinking about that on the way home. Any other board members have any commentary on this? Because it's, now's the time to kind of throw it out for discussion. All discussion is good.
Yeah.
I hate to see a resource taken away from the town. But
okay,
maybe it just does make the most sense, but.
Well, I mean, the resource wouldn't be 100% taken away. It's still going to be open to the public. They can still go. They can boat. They can bring their kayaks. They can go off of it with their kayaks, their paddle boards. They can use their fins and their. It's just that it's not going to be guarded. So it's not taking away. We're not saying it's closed. We're not saying you can't utilize it. We're not saying any of that. We're just saying that it's not going to be guarded, and we're not going to put up the swim area.
And it's not, I'm assuming it's not going to be cleaned, maintained, anything. So if the whole place starts to look like a catastrophe, it's not really a great resource, but.
if they would want us to put garbages there, if they want us to like, I mean, maintain it, you don't really maintain like the beach area. I mean, they pick up trash and like, that's about it. I mean, other than that, maintaining it wise, we wouldn't put a bathroom there. But it would kind of be like how Taylor Brook is in Third Bay right now.
I'm sorry, how what at Third Bay is now?
Taylor Brook.
Yeah, Sean
So
may not.
how people, if you drive around the lake, Third Bay, it's called Taylor Brook, and people access that with their kayaks, and people go swimming in that area right now.
Okay.
So it would be kind of the same way as that.
Okay. Sean, good point. And Tanya, just as another point is, if indeed it went this way and we didn't put out the buoys and this and that, is there any problems when you, and it's the wrong terminology and I apologize, folks. So we're not making it a swimming area guarded, but what happens if what is the state going to do if we want to make it one again? Is there a potential problem if we take it away now? The state says, well,
well, no,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
We have our permit. The permit doesn't state anything in the permit. Doesn't state that you have to have it like up. It just says what time to what time the buoys.
Okay.
It doesn't say anything about not putting them there.
Okay. That was, once again, because as everyone's probably not aware, the state has a lot to say in regard to what's going on up at the lake. So that was maybe my concern if the selectmen, if this followed through and then let's just say
what I'll do is
we want to
email you guys a copy of the permit for everyone to look at.
That'll be good. That'll be good. So just kind of going around the table here a bit, just anybody else have any commentary on this? Because it is going to be, I believe, a topic at the selectmen's meeting on the 19th. It'd probably be a Zoom meeting, more than likely. Tanya and I, if it is on this agenda item, I plan to zoom in on it. And Tanya, I think you're going to zoom in on it. And any other board members are more than welcome to zoom in on it. But it is going to, become, on their agenda conversation on the 19th. So I appreciate any input anybody has tonight or anybody over the next couple of days as you think through this. And once again, I think the selectmen are going to be looking from the board's perspective of, what's the input from the board, what's kind of the consensus of the board. And I know it's tough to throw that all out here tonight, but I would ask everybody to, give it some thought over the next couple days, think it through. And then I will send an email out to folks trying to just, poll, what their final thoughts are. Is that good with everybody?
Sure.
Yep. I have the concerns about the safety, like were mentioned. It's not just at the beach, but it's crossing the beach into that parking lot where people are setting up picnic areas. And so it's a safety concern as far as I go. So.
Yeah. So one of the things I was thinking about also is, and we know that we have issues with that small dirt parking area across there is, is that part, Tanya, is that part of the, would we do anything with that parking area or is that going to be totally separate from the beach itself?
I mean, it just wouldn't need permit. It would just be kind of just open. So the police department, as Melissa stated, the police department would be responsible to kind of keep an eye on what's going on there.
But isn't that, aren't we looking to revamp that anyways? And
We can't
do anything, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, we had that. Yeah, that good point there, Jamie. I think we had that little sliver of land there, and it's a big thing to do for a couple extra parking spots.
We would have to pull it. We'd have to excavate. We'd have to put retaining walls. You're probably
But
talking
we still
about.
have to maintain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think, and that kind of gets into it, just not the beach up there, how, and it's whatever limited over at the parking on the dirt parking area across the street there. Okay.
All right, Dave has a question.
Yeah,
Dave?
Dave, want to have input? Feel free.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick comment. I mean, it's interesting. I think once you start talking about safety, then it opens up a whole nother can of worms. You're talking about, originally talked about the safety of the lifeguards, but you could also argue that if you're going to talk about the safety of the lifeguards, you've got to talk about the safety of the users. And it's almost, if you're going to do something with it, I hate to say it, but you almost should close it. Because to say that you've cut it back for safety reasons and then allow people to use it at their own risk, if somebody were to get injured, they would easily say, well, gee, you knew it was a problem. You cut back on it because it was a problem for safety issues, and you still allowed people to use it and they got hurt.
Oh,
and unfortunately, in today's wonderful society of litigation, you have to think that way. I don't like to think that way, but you have to think that way.
No, yeah. Absolutely. I agree with what you're saying, Dave. Something I could bring to the Board of Selectmen, they're just scared that if we take it 100%, that it's going to cause an uproar.
Yeah.
How much does do this at your own risk absolve us of the responsibility?
That would be a question for the town manager and the police chief.
So I think that we should maintain it by the garbage, putting a garbage can there, because really, what's one more stop when you're picking up garbage? Okay, that's really that's really nothing in the grand scheme of things, but it does save money on staffing it. But it is a problem. It's a safety concern at the same time.
And this may be out of our purview, but can we put temporary speed bumps there for the summer months to try to slow traffic down, with the cars being part of the safety issue?
I mean, we'd have to talk to the police chief. I mean, the stop sign's temporary, and that stop sign absolutely does nothing. There's times that I go up every day and talk to my lifeguards and witness cars just flying through there, not stopping. You try to say something, they're just flipping you off or yelling at you. I don't know the process. I don't know if that is a state road or a town road. So we'd have to find out that and the litigations of how you can put in, if they have to be temporary or if they would have to be year round.
That's a town of 263. That's a state road.
So I don't know. That's something that would have to go to the town manager and the police chief, because I don't know how that works. I don't know if you can put something in seasonally or it has to be a permanent structure.
I mean, the stop sign is seasonal, but yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think good point, Sean. I think it's going to be an interesting conversation. There's a lot of dynamics around when you have discussions about closing something. And as Dave mentioned a few minutes ago on the litigation side, and you just got to beat it up. And so, as I said a few minutes ago, I think what I will do is in a couple of days, I'm going to send out a note to all board members to ask you, for your initial thoughts and final thoughts on this, just so when I attend the 19th meeting, I can bring those comments to the selectmen along, and Tanya will hopefully be there with us also. And once again, all board members, Dave, you're welcome. It's a public meeting. So I think we need to get it from all different avenues and thought processes here, because it's not an easy thing to do. So anything else on the discussion around Holland Beach at this point in time? Okay, hearing none. Just would like to go around the table here real quick, for anything. Sean, you have anything else you want to speak about at this point in time? Your business is moving along, hoping to come open soon.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I finally got some tradespeople. I'm going to get my initial electrical inspection done on Tuesday, so I'm excited.
Excellent. Good, good. Diane, how are things in your household? Good.
Good, we had COVID.
I had heard through the grapevine, so hopefully everyone's well. Did you get it?
Hey,
Your husband did. Yep, I heard through the grapevine on that. Hopefully George is doing better, which is good. Kim Huber, how are things on the home front up there?
Well, we've recovered from COVID. That's why I missed the last meeting. I slept right through it. But we're
Okay.
all better now. 4 out of
Okay.
5 got it in the house.
God bless.
Yeah.
You made it through. Alicia, how are things in your household? Alicia, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Last I saw, she was on the phone.
Oh, she was on. Okay, fine. Then we'll bypass her at this point. Jamie, how are things up at school, homeschooling, and everything else that you have to do?
So things are good.
Everything is good. Everything is good. Okay. I think that and just so everyone knows, on my end, that my grandsons are doing well. The identical twins. They are coming home. They're actually going to be living up at the lake, probably beginning the latter part of January. My daughter has a new job that she's going to be starting monitoring nursing homes up in the Berkshire County area. So the twin boys will be in town. So I'm looking, Barb and I are looking forward to that. And anyone wants to buy a house down at Sandwich at the Cape, let me know. It's going on the market in a couple of days. So Tanya, everything good on your end?
Yep, everything's good. Waiting to
All
see softball season.
Yep. And you're how many months married now?
I'm
Uh,
3.
Never answer that like that when your husband around.
He
Just
knows.
a tip.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. That's fine. As you can see, we're somewhat informal at the end of our meetings here. So with that said, I'll take a motion from any board member for adjournment at 8:20. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right. Kim's making the motion. Anyone want to second that?
Second that.
Made the motion to adjourn.
All right. Who's seconding that?
I did.
Jamie did.
Jamie. Yeah, she's not in the camera range. So, all right. I'm assuming everyone's in favor. I once again thank everybody for attending tonight. We will plan to meet another Zoom meeting on the I think it's the 4th or 3rd in January here or February, and I will look forward to seeing any commentary back from folks on anything that we talked about tonight. And
If anybody does join the Board of Selectmen meeting, just shoot me a note so that way I make sure you get the information of how to.
Yeah. And anybody has anything else at this point, I'm going to close the meeting and wish everybody again a happy new year. And hopefully in a couple months, we'll all be able to meet in person. Okay.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Dave.
Thank you, everybody.
Nice to meet you as well. Thanks for having me and Happy New Year to all.
Happy